make sure that, there you go, it's all set up. Okay. Man, oh man, you know, I went on this afternoon, and I got this really strange little notification at the bottom that YouTube's privacy settings and title didn't update. Now, what good is that? That's just dumb, and I don't have my other device up here to change it on the fly, but there's something going on with the API. That's what I understand now about the privacy. I took a look at it. I thought it was something about the new terms of service. Anyway, the other thing that was going on was today, I couldn't connect to Twitter Live. Dave, how you doing? Good evening. Fist bump to you. On the roof again, and I turned on the lights this time. You know, I rebuilt these lights. I bet it was, I've been in this house for 15 years. I bet I rebuilt those things like about 13 years ago, and they still work. It's still the original bulbs. I replaced them. I'll tell you about that in a second. But anyway, so to be honest with you, when I came on a few minutes ago, I didn't even turn on Twitter Live because I had a problem with it. So Dave, how are you doing, man? How's things? How's things in Osaka? Let me do this. These lights here and over that way, they're on poles, and the original ones, if you look at all the neighbors, they're all busted. And hey Andreas, how are you? Wow, really nice to have you with us. Nice to see you. Thanks so much. If you look over here, 2 doors down, our neighbor built this building. It's illegal construction, but you can see that right next to it is a dark pole. See that pole right there? That is the neighbor's lights. And the neighbor's light, the thing is all broken. Hey Sylvia, how are you? Wow, I haven't seen you for a long time. How are you doing? All right. So see the neighbor's light right there, that pole? There used to be a round globe on that, and now it's yeah, it's broken. And all the lights up here are broken. I'm the only one that has working lights because I'm the only one that cares. I'm the only one that uses it. I'm the only one that comes up here. I've never seen anybody up on the roof except that they had to do some kind of work like on the tanks or something, you know. And oh boy, Sylvia, how's things in greater Jakarta? Boy, you know, I really can't wait. So, yep, we're good. But let me show you something today. Taiwan's had a little bit of a backlog in their rapid testing. Now, they're doing the testing, but it's not getting to the CDC. Now, this is really strange. Everybody knows that Taiwan has had a really, really good history of controlling COVID-19. We haven't had any local outbreaks of any significance. But that also means some of the procedures that are in place haven't been really thoroughly tested, which is kind of weird because it's 2021 and it's the 5th month. It's almost the end of the 5th month, and we're into this pandemic a year and a half. But what happened today was Mr. Chen, this is his newscast. This is a picture I took off the TV, and it says that there are 331 new cases today. 157 cases are male, 177 cases are female. And including the backlog, it was something around 450 today. They're going to maintain the level 3 alert, which is fine with me. And finally, all indoor eating and drinking in Taipei and New Taipei has been banned. If you're going to get food, you can only get takeout. And some of the markets Um, see, the night markets have been closed. Some of the day markets are still open, so they're closing them down. Now, some of you may be looking at our numbers and going, you got to be kidding me. Because Dave told me that in Osaka alone, not, Greater Japan, just in the Osaka area, there were like 700 or 750 or so, basically like double what we had in one day. And we're talking, those numbers are for the entire Taiwan, which is almost 24 million people. So, people are scared, but all things considered, this isn't bad. This ain't bad at all. And so, but what it's done is it's been a wake-up call, because this is only the second week my daughter's been in remote learning. Started last Wednesday. So this Wednesday will be 1 week that their school's been doing online learning. And the rest of the world's been doing it for a year and a half. And people would talk to me about these things, and I go, well, I don't know what that feels like. I haven't had that experience. They were like, oh, your daughter's still in school. And they're really kind of surprised. But when something happens here, the government reacts very quickly. And so even though there has been a local breakout, and we got about 4,000 new cases in the last 10 days, it hasn't exploded. It hasn't gone up exponentially. See, when it's 10, okay, then it's 20. Then it's 40 and it's 80, and then 2 weeks later it's 100,000. That is really, really bad. That is okay. But part of the reason that it's under control is because of the contact tracing that we have. And I explained this the other day. And I got a picture here of, let me see where it is. Yeah, here. You go into a store, excuse me, I'm eating peanuts. Go into a store, right? And there's always a table, or this could be on the outside, on the window or something. It's our local 7-Eleven. You take your QR code scanner and you scan it, and it gives you a result. You copy the result, and then you send a text message to 1922, and you paste the result of that QR code into the text message to 1922. It gets deleted, I think it's 28 days, which is fine because there's no problem in 28 days, I don't need it. But what this does is, this establishes you by your phone number to a specific place at a specific time. So if there is a breakout, then they can contact you. And this is the contact app. I have notifications enabled, and this tells me, this is an actual app that we have from Taiwan. You download it. It's called Taiwan Social Distancing. And you notice it says no contact with registered positive tests. And that's how they know. So what will happen is, based on where I go and the QR codes that I scan and send to 1922, is suddenly somebody in my neighborhood had been at the same place, later tested positive. This thing would go off and it would let me know. That way I can self-isolate, and there's also a provision in the app to report if I get a test. And the funny thing is it'll allow me to report it anonymously without my name, but they can contact me through my phone. It's pretty, and how come they are able to do as well as they have been doing. So right away they went into not a complete lockdown, but into a series of procedures that mitigated the transmission. And then after it reached a certain level, then they went to, a certain number of cases per day over a certain number of days. Then they went to level 3. Now level 3 is, I'm going to see if this is going to let me do this. Yeah, here's what I'm going to do. I just realized this. Look, I can, okay, on the fly, I should be able to change the title right here. I just realized I can do this. Okay, how about that? I'm going to say okay. And, fine. Wow. I don't care about Twitch. Let me know if the information that is the title of this broadcast just changed. That's one of the things that Prism Live Studio allows you to do, and I was just looking at that icon there, you know, to be able to do that. It was bugging me. So anyway, please check out livestreaming.technology. We had over 50 guests in a 24-hour period, but nobody signed up. And you know, when people don't sign up, they're not leaving messages. But it is a site that I designed for content creators, but also for viewers. If you got something that see, people don't have a place that they can even complain, but or that they can ask questions about. So, hello, sir. How are you, Patrick? Bonjour, where you are. It's bonsoir here where I am. How you doing? All right. Now, the other night, Patrick was here, and I had asked him to type the URL in for his site, and I think the URL didn't make it. But without the HTTP, his site is x32ram.com. Like that. The Twitch went, like right away. Bud, how are you? Fist bump to you. All right, how's everything with you? How's everything in Texas? You know, I was going to go on last night, but my eyes were bothering me so bad. You ever have one of those days where you feel like you got something in your eye? And of course, now I'm talking about it, I'm going to be going, oh. But let me tell you, man, at the dinner table last night, I noticed Phoenix's, my daughter Phoenix's right eye was all red. And I'm like, what's going on, Pumpkin? And she said, oh, I've been rubbing it. So, lots of rain. Send some here. We need it. We've got a drought. They're going to do water rationing next week. You know what I'm going to be doing? I'm going to be using the water from all my dehumidifier machines for toilet flushing. That's what I'm going to do. Even though I got these two big tanks back here, I don't even know how many liters these things are. A couple thousand liters each one. And this where I'm sitting is the 5th floor, so I got a pump with a. If we completely lost power, or the water was cut off, we'd still have several weeks worth of water if we, are very. Anyway, this is bizarre. I am outside. I'm in the open, and it says my internet connection is unstable. That's crazy. So anyway, after Phoenix went to bed, I noticed I'm going like this in my left eye. I don't even want to touch it now. I'm like, oh, crazy. And I found, like, this is bizarre. It felt like I don't know, like an eyelash or something turned inside. I just wipe it across my eyelid, and my eyelid would be like way up here or something like this, and inverted and stuff. And I was like, oh, well, that feels good, but I can't hold it like this all night. So I finally just went to sleep. Took a shower and went to sleep. But so woke up this morning, and yeah, that's very strange, and I don't understand why. So I woke up this morning, and man, I gotta tell you, I had so much mucus in my eyes I couldn't even see. Cleared up after about a half an hour, and been fine all day, no issues. All right. Bud, you been doing any ham radio stuff lately? And I noticed, I was up here the other night, right? The last stream I did from the roof, and I was talking about this shortwave antenna that I put up, and I came up here tonight, and just between then and now, one of the pieces of cord that I had used to pull the tip of the V up against the fence, that broke. So it's on the ground. So it's no longer it's ham radio humor. It's no longer a sloper. It's a ground plane. It's a ground plane antenna now, because it's laying on the roof. I flattened the frequency response of my antenna, so that's what I did. So, but anyway, the general mood in the neighborhood is apprehensive. Really? That sounds like fun. I would love to do that. But I'm kind of apprehensive about trains in the United States. But of course, here in Taiwan, you know, train service is very, yeah, it's, you know, pretty up to date and so forth. Of course, that big accident that we had about a month ago got worldwide press, but that was an individual person basically that caused that. 48 hours, huh? But that's not bad from Texas to New York. My friend Grady took his mother from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast. That's one of the things she wanted to do. It was like a bucket list thing, and he got it done for her before she passed. And he said it was one of the do that. Like I said, I can't wait till we can travel again. Jakarta's one of the places I want to go. Patrick's going to end up taking me probably across the whole country of France, you know, from one side to the other. And I'll tell you, you know, one night we were talking about how different, you know, exotic places that like to visit and so forth. And I did not mention France because it's not considered exotic, you know, it's part of Europe. Everybody wants to hear things like, you know, they want to hear Jakarta, they want to hear they want to hear you say stuff like, you know, I want to go to Angkor Wat and all this stuff, right? But let me tell you, we have a lot of French stuff in Taiwan, French products. Like Phoenix's favorite tea comes from France. It's expensive as hell. And we don't care. We just buy it because it's great. I buy a big box and big assortment, and you know, the flavors are just. One of the things that I remember, one of the movies, I think it was one of the earlier Godzilla movies with what it was, Matthew Broderick and what's his name, Reno. Anyway, they were joking, a bunch of Frenchmen in the van, and they were joking about the coffee. They said, you know, they call it French roast. They like spit it out. So, but if you get like the real stuff, you know. So we have quite a number of French food and drink imports in Taiwan, in particular wine. And so Patrick shows me these pictures of his house, you know, and he said he's got another house. I guess I would call it a vacation house with a swimming pool, you know, and he's got his guitars and drums and stuff, so you can, you know, have all your friends over, and hey, you got a rock band. It's like, holy cow, man, I could. Biggest problem that Patrick would have with me visiting is he would be saying stuff like, you know, MJ, you've been here like 5 weeks. Yeah. When did you say you were going back? When did you say you were going back to Taiwan? Oh, I was going to figure about 6 months from now. So he's been showing me pictures, you know, and it's definitely a place that I wouldn't mind having a place there. But us having a place in northern Thailand is definitely doable. There are places like that you can still get land for cheap. And even though in Thailand a foreigner is not allowed to own land, a foreigner can get a lease. And there are many leases where the leases will go to a realty company, and they sell condominiums to mostly to Europeans. I see a lot of Swiss guys there, you know, and they live for, you know, 20, 25 years, 30 years maybe, and they pass on, somebody else acquires it. But in the meantime, you know, the lease on the land is 99 years, so nobody has to worry about that for a couple generations. Pretty cool. My attorney, Mr. Bancho, in Khon Kaen, had a resort called the Sabua, S-A-B-U-A, Sabua Resort. And if you look up Sabua Resort, pretty much everything, well, no, but now, but everything from, say, like 2006 to 2014 was me, my blog. And Mr. Bancho said, because I would go visit him all the time. I went like in 2006, 2006, I think I went there like 6 times. 2007 I went there like 7 times, and I don't know, altogether I've probably been there about 15 times, maybe more. I go visit him. He told me one time, he said, we had a whole bunch of people from Germany come here. He's scratching his head. He says, I don't know how they find out about us, because we're in a place called Muang Pon, which is spelled P-H-O-N, and it's like 80 kilometers south of Khon Kaen. It's a small little town, right? And who would know it? And they said, well, we read about it on the internet. He's like, well, can you show me? And they went, yeah. And so the guy gets out his laptop and he shows him he goes, oh, that's MJ's blog. That was pretty cool. But Mr. Bancho told me that if I wanted to make my own like cottage there, and I could have like anything I want. I could have like a walk-in fireplace that was, you know, as tall as me. I could put like fireplace cranes inside to hang Dutch ovens on, or hang a, you know, side of beef or whatever to smoke it over wood. Anything I want. Open air restroom off the side, whatever. And he said all I would have to do is pay for the construction. And he was saying that he would just lease me the land for nothing. I gotta tell you, I really thought about that. I thought about that seriously, because I was asking him like about how much was the construction on the cottages that he had, and one in particular that was my favorite. And he said it was 100,000 baht. Now at that time, 1,000 baht was $25. So 100,000 baht would be 25 times 100. That's cheap, man. 2,500 US dollars for like a cottage. Man. So his wife, Dr. Sue, is in Chiang Rai. And she invited me there a long time ago, and we went there this past, well, 2021, January, end of January to the beginning of February. And she has a house called the Orange House. It's really funny because in Thai, the word for like alley is mu, and it's spelled M-O-O. It's kind of like the same pronunciation in Thai as the word for pork, but the tone is different. And so Phoenix drove up to Dr. Sue's house and saw 10, M-O-O 10, Mu 10. So that's been like her name for that place. And it was really funny because I was talking to Dr. Sue and I said that, you know, she should just call the place Mu 10, but it's called the Orange House. It is, it's orange. It's amazing. You see it from miles away. It's really nice. And when we stayed there, she told me that I can tell all my friends, anybody that I know, that her house is available for rent, and it's like really cheap. We're talking like $30 or $40 a day. And you know, there's a maid, and they got those lakes and stuff for fishing and things like that. And there's a guy named Sock, S-A-K, Sock, and he has a car. He lives down the street, and so you just pay him. He'll take you anywhere. His wife cuts hair and stuff, so it's pretty funny. Sock is a riot. And so we're at Dr. Sue's house, and that's the beginning of the pandemic, and nobody at that time had any idea. Now, I played for you guys on previous shows, and I still have these. I played for you videos that I took of my shortwave radio from her house outside. I strung up a long wire antenna, and I was listening to broadcasts from the United Kingdom, and they featured an interview with a teacher from Wuhan. I think he was Canadian, an English teacher from Wuhan, and it also featured some doctors, and they were talking about this emerging pandemic. And the interesting thing is they had to explain what the pandemic is, but nobody really who is alive knows that much, you know, about pandemics, which just means a worldwide epidemic. And the bad part about all that is nobody's been able to visit her house. That's what I'm getting to. Because she asked me if we could make a website for her house, you know, to rent it out. See, she's a professional educator. She's a PhD in education, and she has a couple of programs that she sells to universities for coursework, and she's a big shot at Concan University and some other universities and some overseas universities. And so she's not at the house that much. And if, you know, somebody were to come and wanted to rent the place, she could definitely, like, you know, find someplace else to stay because she's always busy. So yeah, there was that. So we haven't done it. We just haven't done it because there isn't any point in it. But now that things are starting to open up a little bit, it may be time to revisit that. Even though now, in Taiwan, things are getting a little bit out of control. All right, let's do this. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, this is David Osaka, live from Greenland, and you're
watching Taiwan Live TV with MJ Klein.
And that, of course, is our friend David Osaka. And Dave has a forum on live streaming technology, as well as I do, and as well as our friend Ken.
Hi everybody, you're watching Late Night with MJ Klein on Taiwan Live TV.
Now, I'll tell you what's so cool. 'Cause, you know, I've been about Ken Rod's bumper. He's so well known, he doesn't even have to tell you who he is. How cool is that? If I did a bumper and said, hey, you're watching Ken Rod on Ken Rod's Coffee Break, everybody would go, who the hell was that? Who's that? Did you see that old guy with the white hair? Yeah, who's that? I don't know. Well, what's he? Love Ken. This bump to you too, Sue. How are you? How's everything? You're not too far away from us. How's everything down under? And sometimes I'm afraid to ask because, you know, just circumstances, but how's your mom doing? Hope everything's okay. Oh, it's such a nice night. It's a little bit overcast. Love it. Love it. I got a little shadow thing going on with the phone is casting a shadow with this. And if I don't know. If I move it over here, then I'll just have another shadow from the other way. I don't think it'll make any difference. Well, that's good. That's excellent. Yeah, it is buffering, I know. I have no idea. I mean, I'm outside. Let me do this. You know what I'm going to do? Tell me what happens. Tell me. Now, it says my connection's unstable. But this should actually be better. Please tell me if this is better. Because what I think is going on is right below this floor is the studio. And I'm back a little further than I was the other night. But the phone connects to the studio network, which is separate from the rest of the house. So, can I get a signal report? Testing, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, good, because what we are is we're out in the open. I should have like about, 90 megabytes down and probably, 50 up on the 4G network. There's no 5G here. Okay. Well, sometimes I goof that up. This neighborhood has, like a lot of Taiwan, the major mobile telcos have they set up Wi-Fi, like citywide Wi-Fi. And years ago, really? Interesting. Okay. Well then, then we solved it. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm not going to forget that. I'm going to make it a point to check that before I go live on the roof again. So, oh, wow. Lots of pixels, big ones, huh? Wow. Yeah. You have lots of pixels now? Boy, oh boy. 90 bytes, wow. Okay. Well, what's going on right now, Patrick, is I'm totally on the 4G network, and I'm not on the, because I was wondering, I was getting a notification up here on the top, from Prism, which is the encoder, that, it was telling me that I'm having internet connection problems. Like, what's going on? Then I realized, oh, good, thank you. Oh, it might actually be connected to the studio network, and it was. Anyway, I've been taking it really low. I got like 4 mixing jobs that are just backlogged. Fortunately, the client doesn't matter. He's got lots of time, and he and the band are doing some other things. But the fact is, I have just been, and Patrick knows this because I'm supposed to be testing some stuff for him too, and just had a lot of personal stuff going on. Anyway, you see this rail behind me? Maybe you can't see it. Let me do this. See this rail? Okay, you know it's black square angle iron. It's hollow inside, right? And it goes all the way around. Goes all the way around the roof. All 4 sides. Okay. All right. So I understand. Thank you. Thanks very much, Sue. And I know it's rare to see you, but I always appreciate when you come in to visit us. I really appreciate it. So if you're ever on the Line app, let us know, because I'd love to have you join us on our Line group, the late night group, and all your favorite big name live streamers like Ken, Dave, myself, and others. We're all there. So thank you so much. This, that rail is it's like the parapet on like a Middle Eastern house or an Asian house. Take care, thank you. I wouldn't lean on it, especially over here, man. That's like this is the 5th floor, okay? And so it's a drop to the first floor. I've got a carport and I've got an overhang. And yeah, I wouldn't want to hit that. But one day, about, I don't know, 12 years ago, 10 years ago, I was doing something in the back, and I wanted to hang something off that in the back, and I drilled a hole, in one of the uprights. A bunch of water came out. I'm like, what? I started looking at them, and this thing I think was probably built in place. There's a foot. Okay, so they bolted a foot down, and then they laid an angle on it, and they just welded uprights on it. And I don't know. I mean, they probably built it in the in the flat. And excuse me. But it's just tack welded. It looks to me like it was stick welded, and it's tack welded. So like, on the top, okay, you've got, it's a square, like a channel, it's hollow inside, and you got another square channel coming up, but there's no bead all the way around it, it's just tack, so any rainwater or something can go in there, and the same with the bottom. And I realized, I said, you know what I got to do? I got to come up here with my hand drill and a couple batteries, and I just got to drill a hole in the bottom of all these things and drain the water out. I never did it. I never did it. I've thought about it maybe 10 times, and I'm like, oh, it's too hot. 'Cause when do you think about it? August. I don't think about it. When it's cool, I think about it in August, right? So, I think Patrick just sent me a message. Yeah. And so, it's like, I'm looking over here, and I've got that post with the light on it, and the corner bracket goes right to it. But I'll tell you what, let me just see if I can show it to you. Here's what's going on with this thing. And we're going to go down at the same time. Let's go over here. if you, I'm gonna zoom in and I'm gonna go down. If you look over there, oh sorry, this way. All right, let me do this. Let me just get rid of that for a second. If you look, like right there, whoa, right there. Do you see that? That's missing. Okay, do you see what I mean? Yeah, this is like right there. Oh, come on. Like right there. Oh, come on, man. It's not letting me. No. Don't do that. It's not letting me. Oh, sometimes Prism doesn't let me draw stuff that I want to draw. So like, I'm just saying right. Anyway, I guess you can see what I'm talking about. There's a little piece that's missing there. Why won't that let me do the drawing? This is supposed to be drawing. I'm supposed to be able to go like that. Oh, now I can do it. Oh, now it'll let me do it. Okay, so what about like right there? That's what I'm talking about, right there. Gosh, why does it do that? Anyway, so there you go. And that's, you know, that's because I didn't drill a hole. But it doesn't matter because it is welded to the pipe behind it. Because if we just go up, we can see that the round pipe is right there that holds the light. And you can see part of my antenna that's hanging off of it. Okay. So we'll just do this. We'll just hit the trigger twice and we'll go back. And okay, that's cool. That worked out okay. And what I got to do now is I got to put this back on. I hope I didn't miss any messages in between. So I hate when that happens. Let's see if I did. Did I miss any messages? Show chat view. Okay, yeah. Patrick asked, Rust took it away. Yes. Rust took it away. Sorry, I had the chat box, the one that burns to the stream. I had the chat box. I had it disabled for a second so you could see that because it was covering up the videos. Yeah. And so really what I should do, actually now, here's the thing about me. You know what motivates me to do stuff? Telling people on a live stream. Now, I don't get thousands of views. I get, you know, maybe 60 or 100. But still, that's enough people that I feel like, okay, maybe I should do what I said I was going to do, or maybe I should get busy on that. There's another section over here that looks like it's missing. It's really weird because it's got to be from water. It's got to be. But I haven't looked at it for a while. I'm not gonna let Phoenix come up here and play. But we're eventually gonna be moving from this house. I would rather not have to get this fixed. But you know, this kind of stuff in Taiwan is relatively cheap. You're gonna have this done. But we had the house waterproofed. At the same time, we ripped the windows out of the second and third floor and put all soundproof windows in. At the same time, we had them waterproofed the entire house, and they waterproofed the roof with special coating. And we had them paint this with rust-resistant paint. But gosh, that was, oh man. If I'm not mistaken, that's before my daughter was born, so that's more than 8 years ago. I think it was like 10 years ago. And so it needs to be painted again. It looks like what I need to do is get a welder up here and weld some cross pieces along some of these sections. I really, really don't want to go up to it and give it a shake. And you don't want to lean on it. But years ago, we used to have a lot of parties up here. We don't. My wife doesn't like to do it anymore. But I had some really nice tables and chairs. I had umbrellas, and I had even along these railings I had made some rope ties, you know, and I used the block of wood, you know, tensioner like you would on a tent. And I had drilled, you know, the webbing on the umbrellas and installed like a clevis. And yeah, so I had them locked down because up here, you know, this is Sinchu, man. Just like, I worked it out one day. If I spent 10,000 US dollars on wind turbines, I could actually make money back. There's so much wind up here on little tiny individual turbines, and just, you know, put them up. But the wind here is so strong that if I didn't have those tie downs, the umbrellas would have flown away. But we used to have a lot of parties up here. It was so much fun. And but these days, I just go down to Mr. Wu's, and I go down to not so much Win-Wins, but some of the other Thai places. And you guys remember Athula, the Sri Lankan gentleman? There's a lot of places, you know, Thai place down here. A lot of places to hang out and do stuff. Not anymore. Not while we're on level 3. Alright, let me just check and make sure. Yep, everything's running. We got our chat box is back. So if you send a message, you'll be able to see it. There's about maybe a 6 to 8 second probably delay with YouTube, you know, from when you type a comment. But I also have a separate chat viewing utility in Prism that I can use. That I was able to go back and, you know, and check that out. What Patrick said. Now, one of the things that Prism does is with these chat views, you should be able to do this, and you can use it for moderation. Like, for example, I'm just going to add Patrick as a moderator. So now he's the YouTube moderator. So the next message that he sends, he's going to have a wrench on it. So he's now a moderator for my YouTube channel. I can do that from Prism. But I should also be able to do this. If I pick a comment, here's what I'd like to know. I think you can see this, even though you can't see the scrolling here. So I can scroll up and down, and I can you know, pick like older comments. The thing is, I could burn that chat too. And I used to do it a lot, but I sort of preferred to burn it across the bottom, because what would happen is it would populate the whole, you know, the whole side of the video. But, you know, to each his own. So, okay, so you can see that. Okay, good. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So if I do this, I can hide the chat view and leave that. So you see your wrench? See your wrench? Got a little wrench there. So, on any of these comments that people have, that you can click on it and see what you got for moderator privileges. But I should be able to just do this and make that. Hang on. Go away. So that's pretty cool. So that enables, you know, the broadcaster, that's a funny term, huh? Narrowcaster, you know, to concentrate on a particular comment and move it around and stick it, which is good. What I really want Prism to do is to put like a dwell time on this, like maybe 20 seconds or whatever, adjustable, you know, so I can make it however I want, because this really should come up, hang for maybe 10 seconds and then fade out. And the Streamlabs chat box that I was using from a long time ago does that. I don't believe that I have. Do I? Oh, you know what? I got Restream. I have the Restream chat box. And the Restream chat box is yeah, see, I don't have Streamlabs. This is the Restream chat box. And it's going to say something like the chat's ready to display or something like that when it comes up. We'll see. Yeah, see, it's ready to display messages. This is underneath. Oh boy, that's set for really, really small. But it disappears. See, that disappears. So here's what we can do. Let me get rid of this one. And this is a Restream, and I'm gonna make the there you go. Okay. Now, if you please try a comment now. This is Restream.io, which is a multi-streaming service. You just stream to them, and then they distribute it to, oh gosh, you know, you can have Facebook, Twitch, DLive, and you name it. I mean, tons, and places I never heard of. And they offer a chat box too. And so you simply install, you know, in a widget, you simply install their HTML code. So YouTube is one of the services that I have connected to it. So anybody that sends a message on YouTube, comment, and this should come up on Restream in just a second. Wow, I was looking at the native one. Wow, that's not working. Holy cow. It's not supposed to be that long, folks. Well, go to Restream. It's not working. So we're going back to Prism. Now, one thing I cannot do, now talk to Jake about this, is I cannot during the broadcast turn the native chat capture on and off. I have to stop and go into the setup. So they may change that. There you go. So that's cool. So Patrick, do you like your new moderator privileges? Yeah, Patrick's got moderator privileges on Behringer.world. I should give you moderator privileges here too. Just so you can say you moderate everything I do. That'd be fun. You're a very moderate man. Yeah. Yep. Oh. So I got these. I opened them up upside down. But trust me, this is garlic peanuts upside down. Yeah. And they got the Redskins and stuff in there, so yeah, no need. Yeah, I hear you. Sometimes, though, you know, Patrick, you just do stuff because you can. Why'd you do that? Because I had the power. That's funny. Matthew, fist bump to you. How's the little guy? How is the little guy? Matthew is a proud father, and how old is he now? And his name is Grayson. Is that right? Oh, wow. Yeah. 3 minutes. All right, I need to. 20 days old. Fantastic. But Patrick, see what's going on? Like, Matthew just came in, and I just asked him a question, and he was able to answer me in just a few seconds. So I've heard of like a cumulative delay. Maybe if you exit and come back. But this is telling me maybe I should just go back with the native system and not use the chat widget. This is a big problem that we broadcasters have been having with YouTube. You know, it's always something. It's always something like Twitch. It's very quick for you. Yeah, I noticed that. With Twitch, if I want to use Twitch, I got to pay money to have my broadcast stick, and then if they don't like it, they can delete it anyway and all this stuff. And YouTube is free, but we put up with this. And then you have like Periscope or Twitter Live, which basically was instantaneous. The quality wasn't so good, and it's not, it's impossible to find replays. It's not really a video site. So it's like, gosh, you know what I got to do? Patrick, you're from France, so if you goof up some spelling in English, you get a pass, okay? You get a free pass. Well, no, everybody's sending from YouTube. Everybody's viewing on YouTube, and they're using they're using the YouTube, whether it's PC or mobile. They're using the YouTube app to watch and to comment in. So, but it seems pretty quick now. We used to do latency tests. We can do one right now if you want, but basically what you do is I tell everybody to say, like, type like a number, like number 1 or whatever, but don't send it. Just put it in the text box and get ready to send it. Not yet. And so, like, I have a broadcast timer up here that has seconds on it, so I can just go like, okay, like, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, and everybody presses the button, and then as the second, I count the seconds, and then we can see. So maybe we can do that. So. Yeah, that's the problem with API calls. Yeah, it's got to go through, a couple of AWS servers probably. Yeah, I know what you mean. I know. Which always used to amaze me how fast Periscope was, almost instantaneous. But the thing is, to make it happen the way I want it to happen, I probably have to do it myself. I have to probably get it's these days it's pretty easy to put together a live streaming system. There are content delivery networks out there. You don't have to own your own servers, obviously, anything like that. But the chat is always the hard part. See, like, there's companies like Daycast, and I have a Daycast account, and I've never subscribed to them because I didn't end up using it. I could live stream to my own website with Daycast, And there's also whisper video, you know, for WordPress. This is the problem. This right here. Getting the chat and getting it to you in time for you to actually respond. I mean, this is like a Benny Hill skit where they have a, you know, a remote and they're interviewing the Queen and they have a problem with the delay, you know, and the answers are one question behind. It's, you know, it's absolutely hilarious. But that's what it ends up being like. I don't know if you ever saw that. I know I'm dating myself. But, oh, it's crazy. I saw a skit where, you know, Benny Hill was playing the Queen of England and broadcaster asked her a question, Your Majesty, you know, blah, blah, blah. And the tech came up and said, we're having technical problems. There's a big delay. She's not going to get that message. So let's go on to the next question. And of course, you know Benny Hill, right? The first question that he had asked was about the condition, you know, of the palace. And, you know, how were things, you know, on the home front and so forth, words to that effect. And then he said, okay, then the second question was, he said, so, you know, I understand, Your Majesty, you've been having some medical problems, and, you know, how are you doing, you know, with, you know, overcoming your medical problems? And so she answers right away, but she's answering the first question. And she says stuff like, oh, you wouldn't recognize the old place down under. It looks a lot different now, and all this stuff. And it's like so that was absolutely hilarious. But sometimes live streamers kind of face this sort of thing, because I know I myself, I mean, I watch live streams too. And somebody will show something, and I go, wow, that's, you know, something about a sign I saw or something. But it took 3 minutes for YouTube to display that. And then the live streamer's going, what the heck are you talking about? You know, because what they're looking at now is 3 minutes down, you know what I'm saying? And I've had so many misunderstandings. And I've actually, like, been typing comments that before they got to the broadcaster, they'd signed off. You know, and so there's I probably have 500 comments, you know, in the ether. There's in limbo. They're undelivered, you know, undelivered live stream comments that are just out in, you know, somewhere. Electrons that got aborted or something midstream. Let me tell you something. Don't ever get a black cover, because where's the hole? There's a hole in there I'm trying to drink from, and I pick it up, and I think it, and I know there's a tab there I can line up. When you pick it up, and I'm just thinking, you know, I'm thinking it's here, and it's like over here. I'm like, whoa, it's going down the side of my face. I'm like, oh, MJ's drunk. No, I'm not. I'm not. No. I don't need that. But it's like, let me see here. What I would need to do is get a glow in the dark paint pen and just, I want to draw like a big arrow on this thing. So circle it. MJ, it goes here. Okay, here's the tab straight up. Okay, here we go. Ready? That was more like it. Wow. You really put yourself out there sometimes, though, live streaming. And one of the things that I want to do, and I just haven't done it yet, was I want to have some. We got to do this on the PC. I hate to say it, but Haps is a pretty good platform for that kind of stuff. But you know, there's services like StreamYard, you know, that will allow you to bring multiple broadcasters in. But I'd like to have a kind of a roundtable of like, you know, what's the worst thing that ever happened to you on a live stream kind of thing. And I don't have so many funny things happen. I had things like the time that that guy over here cornered me at 2 o'clock in the morning. I wouldn't take his motorcycle helmet off. And I didn't know what his intentions were. And we've had some drama down here. And all I gotta say is, it's a good thing that many people can't understand spoken Chinese, because some of the stuff that I'm telling you about, I've been streaming this to these places, these guys in the background are talking about, you know, the filthiest stuff. I was at Win-Win's one time, and there was a follower that I had a long time ago that I don't have anymore. I had to block this follower. But this person speaks Chinese, and they were laughing prolifically during one of my live streams because the guy came up, he was drunk, and he went up to Win-Win's looking for some karaoke girl. And let's just say he wasn't subtle. He was very specific about what he wanted, and I completely ignored it. But then I see people laughing on my comments. It's all the Chinese speakers, so what can you do? But there have been some funny things. But I've had some pretty nice experiences, you know, working with some of the other live streamers like Dave. Of course, you know, John Spo used to be here in Taiwan, and you know, I've had John Ho here a couple times, and I've met Yuka 4 times and been here. And JL and his pal John from LA, and of course, you know, Jevons, everybody loves Jevons, and the big prank that we played on John Ho with Jevons, you guys remember that? That was like epic. That's on my Taiwan Live TV channel. If you search, like, you know, I called it the greatest Periscope prank ever, and of course, it's grandiose, but that was pretty cool. And so we've had quite a number, you know, of course, I think I said Casper, of course Casper. We've had quite a number of different friends from all the world down here, different live streamers, and had some pretty funny things happen. But what I like to do is have a roundtable discussion about, you know, what's the worst thing that ever happened to you when you're live streaming. You know, somebody came, because what happens to me sometimes, you guys have seen this if you look at my channel, you look at enough of my videos, sometimes I'll be just sitting there talking, and somebody will come up, like their face right up to the camera, looking at me. And you guys know, probably about, it was about 2 months ago, I was doing a broadcast from Win-Win's, and it was inside, because, you know, that's the famous window, right? And she had pulled the door down a little bit. That's where he came up, this guy named Kenny came up to me, and his English isn't that good, it's okay. But he said, oh, I can help you. And I said, you can help me with what? He said, oh, I can help you. I can help you say anything that you want to say to her. And so I told him in Chinese, I'm Taiwanese, and he just busted out laughing. So then after that, I was like his biggest pal. And I don't know if you guys remember this. I don't know how you forgot. Redskin. He pulled up a stool beside me, and he put his head, just laid his head on my shoulder the rest of the stream. I mean, for like 30 minutes. Just got his head on my shoulder looking at me and talking. What can you do? That would be considered very rude. You know, the fact that he's got his head on my shoulder in local culture is really a huge term of endearment. It's something that you know, I should appreciate. So there you go. So I've been on for what? An hour and 12 minutes? Gosh, I've been yakking for an hour and 12 minutes. All right, as I mentioned today, I finally got the attention of JTS, the microphone and professional audio equipment company. They sent me 2 mics to test. And one of them is a USB microphone. It's a large capsule condenser mic with a single cardioid pattern. And I gotta tell you, I took it out of the case today. And the first thing that impressed me about this microphone was its sheer beauty. It has the same DNA as my tube mic, and my tube mic has these beautiful, beautiful lines on it, right? So here's the thing. I just want to show you one thing. I took this mic out of the case and I picked it up and I noticed how heavy it is. This thing is, let me do this up a little bit. This is 0.417 kilograms. It's 417 grams for a microphone. It's like a half a kilogram. So for those of you who are metrically challenged, that's 0.9 something pounds. I knew a guy in the United States that had a gun made in Brazil, the Taurus Millennium, that weighed less than that, with like 10 bullets in it. This microphone is die-cast aluminum zinc alloy. This microphone is off the charts tough. It's heavy, it's weighty. And let me tell you, if you had this microphone with you and you had like an emergency situation and you had to say jack the car up on a hill and you needed to chock the wheel, yeah, just grab that mic and stick it in there. It's going to hold. I mean, seriously. And a lot of these, you know, between like $100 and $200 USB mics, they got a lot of plastic in them. Some of them, though, like the AT's Audio Technica, you know, those mics generally are pretty good with metal bodies and stuff. But I've seen some of these mics that were like plastic, redskin. So I'm really looking forward to doing a full review on that condenser mic because it is really something. It's beautiful. I got to do some close-up video of the contours on it because the contours match the shape of my beloved tube preamp microphone by JTS. I love that tube mic. It is incredible. You guys heard me use it in the studio. So later this week, I'm going to be doing a broadcast to YouTube on this YouTube channel using Prism Live Studio PC version, and that is going to be something because I'll use that mic. So there you go. That's what's going on. And they also gave me a karaoke mic. You know the kind that has the speakers built into it? It looks like a mic flag. It's like a square box around the microphone. You guys have seen that, right? And I showed this today. this microphone has, you can see on the right, it's, you know, there's a square, you know, assembly there, and there's stereo speaker right and left beside that display. But in the left hand is a receiver. So this microphone actually transmits to a receiver, and you can plug it into your PA system. So man, over the next 2 weeks, I'm going to have a blast with these things. This is going to be incredible. So with that, I think I'm going to say good night, and I'll see you guys later on this week with a broadcast from the studio. I'm going to feature this mic and talk about it, and I'm going to let you know how you can get one. Because if you're a broadcaster or a podcaster, it's going to be something you could really, really use. This bump to you. Good night. Thank you so much, Matthew. Give that little guy a hug and kiss for Uncle MJ, will you? Yeah, such a blessing, huh? Amazing, huh? You guys take care. And I'll have some more pictures for you and so forth. And please check out livestreaming.technology. Please join the forum. We don't have that many members, and we'd like to have you contribute. You know, if you something you'd like to say about Twitch or Twitter or YouTube or anything, you know, even if you want to complain, we have forums for all those live streaming platforms and even the audio ones, and we're slowly developing forums for individual live streamers so that people can interact with them. And Ken and Dave are there, as well as Dean and myself. So you can send us messages there, and we'll get them. Guys, take care. Thanks so much for joining. Zaijian Wanan from Taiwan. Take care. Here's the big finger. Bye-bye. Oh, there it is. Oh, no. Oh, no. Good night, you guys.